For our audience, once again, man, we haven't talked about this topic in a long time. Probably, like you said, over a year. The 360 deal. Has there been an evolution or a change to that in that rap industry? Because you see a lot of rappers now who some of them complain, but some of them are making out very, very well. In the industry. So break that down. And has there been any evolutions to the 360 deal that you know?
Yeah, and it's funny. I have people that actually watched the episode that I was on here before. And it was like, damn, man, you predicted all of this. I said, well, I was in the business for 20 some odd years. I understand the business side of it. Yes, it's evolving. It's turning artists into executive producers. And the artists are taking the burden off of the labels. Because if you notice, artists are signing other artists to badass deals. Horrible deals. And selling them the deal. And then you don't find out until either the artist passes away and you see that they have no equity in their estate, or you see them not their music isn't distributed fairly when there's different quarters. Like this last quarter is coming out is for the heavyweights. But you don't see any of the heavyweights except maybe 2 or 3, but they're the ones that are getting subsidiary deals from the major labels to sign the smaller artists to 360s. So you have people like a Rick Ross. Now he's a distributor. So he's signing distributor deals. He's owning publishing, and he's basically a record label, and he's pushing a 360. Sorry about that, Rick, but you know what you're doing. But he's pushing a 360 to the other artists. I mean, other artists are literally doing that, and you see it. The 360 deal is all designed to pull income from the artists. And for the life of me, artists are still doing it. They won't go independent. It's amazing. And some artists will go from independent actually going back into a label. I don't understand that. I just don't know what the draw is.
Well, let me ask you this. You talk about a Rick Ross, and shout out to Rick Ross because we're fans of his music and it's all on a business perspective. But then you see a brother like a Yo Gotti out in Tennessee, and from what it looks like, all his motherfucking artists are eating from what it looks like. So talk about if that, in fact, is what we see true. What's the difference between a Yo Gotti and some of these other artists who turn into labels and sign other artists?
Publishing and royalties. A Yo Gotti won't have to release a song at all because he's got the publishing rights and the royalties to all the artists he signs. Because he's a big fish in a goldfish tank, he's going to impress the small artists. Okay, I'll get you clothes, I'll get you an apartment, I'll put you all in one big building. It's a tax write-off. I'm going to give you exposure. I got a publicist for you. I'm going to get your name out there. You're responsible for growing your own song, though, but I'll get you out there, quote unquote. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's going to eat, but he's real good. Because, I mean, it's the same thing. Look at the City Girls. Look at where they are right now. Mm-hmm. They're known. Are they making money? No. Is OC making money? Yes. I mean, it's a 360 deal. Yeah. And a lot of industry people don't want to talk about that because these artists have said, you know what, guys, we're just going to have to do what the labels are doing. Instead of really going strictly independent, as an independent company, they just want to be able to reap the benefits of a label making them notorious. So Warner Brothers and the Sony, they own all the outlets. They deal with the clear channels and those kind of promoting agencies that promote huge concerts and have the Pepsi and the Coke contracts and the sponsorships. So you just can't compete. They're worried that they can't compete with that level of distribution. They really can if they really understood their resources. So what the artists are doing, artists like a Yo Gotti, you have someone parallel to him like a Boosie. So they'll have local artists underneath their labels that are getting spins and rotation, and they're giving them revenue. They're getting royalties off this.
Wow. That's pretty amazing that you say that. So break it down, once again, break it down. And first of all, is it for everybody to even go independent? Because it's a lot more of a hustle. You really got to have, your business, mind in order to be able to, manage all of that. So is it for everybody to be independent? Talk about that and talk about the pitfalls of the 360 deal.
Yeah, it's not for everybody to go independent. Sometimes, it depends on your situation. You may not have the wherewithal or the resources to go independent. You do have to have some resources. So if you're going to step to a label with a 360, you can actually create carve-outs within a 360 contract so that you go in as a partner. You're coming out as an equal partner, equal in, equal out. Now you can have an incentive-laden partnership versus signing as an employee. You get signed and they give you a 1099. If they give you a 1099, just know you're in trouble. Just know, you might as well just understand you're an employee now. You're in trouble. But if you go in as a partner and you have vested interest in the royalties, the mechanical rights, the performance rights, you're getting average, you're getting money off the tickets, you're getting royalties for money they charge for parking. Labels get money for people in the parking lot. They own the stake of they own the stake of the actual venue when the artists perform. 360 takes all of that out of your revenue, and that's the pitfall of the 360. The 360 sequesters all your earning power, and they become the executor of it. They control it from the merchandising to any third-party affiliation. Somebody comes on Hip Hop Uncensored and they say their song. Those royalties go to the label. You got to ask the label for your money. You know, it depends on the venue. And then we had, not to mention radio or podcast now, because now you have DJs, like it always has, that actually have boxes, like Nielsen boxes. I know you guys know about that. Mm. When they play it, it's played through a Nielsen box. And Nielsen box plays through an ASCAP or BMI speaker, whatever venue that is. How many rotations turn into money? The label takes that in the 360. They take that. So when you go to like a DJ so-and-so, he has leverage because he's got a Nielsen box, so he's playing at a union venue. So he could charge you just to play your song. Okay, I'll rotate your song 7 times in my mix. Give me $2,000. Now you just think of promotion, people are hearing, but you don't realize those are sound scan points. Those are points that get you charted. This is what creates a DJ Khaled. Now DJ Khaled can assign a 360 deal to other artists and he owns the royalty of the label. Now he's at a level where he has such big artists, they're all going in on partnership deals. But initially that's what he was doing. Because you see a DJ Khaled and he's like, okay, what did he actually do? He was executive producer and he was distributing the music as a DJ. So 360s are very deceitful, and that's why they're not worth even dealing with.
Right? What's the draw for Rocnation? We see a lot of artists, you know, going over to Rocnation, like that's like, you know, the savior of hip hop. Are they still essentially doing the same thing, or there's something different with Rocnation?
They're doing the same thing, but what makes Rocnation kind of unique, and I've noticed that from the inception, is that they're really bossy when it comes to distribution. They can get you in corners of the earth that other people can't get you on a consistent basis. If you're an artist that doesn't have much exposure, they'll get you in there. They'll get you where you need to go, and that's what gives them leverage. A lot of labels and management companies like Rock don't have the influence. The way Rocnation was built, it was built on relationships within the media industry to add depth and width to the artists they represent. So Rocnation can get you that third-party sponsorship, can get your music on a movie soundtrack. Rocnation can do that.
Got you. I'm gonna transition just a little bit into podcasting. You mentioned podcasting, and we were watching a little something on some of the podcasting and numbers and the legalities behind it, a little bit behind the scenes. It was very interesting, and obviously being in the game and understanding how lucrative it could be, but really not understanding how lucrative it could be. I would love for somebody in your expertise, if you know anything about the current wave of podcasting and how the numbers work, and just break all that down for us, if you don't mind.
Yeah, with podcasting, it's similar to the music industry. The strength of podcasting now is sponsorship. It's becoming an influencer. Podcasts are podcasts are at the beginning stages. The beginning stages. You take a leading podcast like Joe Rogan and his podcast. At one time, at the height of his viewership, you can have 100,000 people watching in the first 15 minutes. If he flashes a product if he influences people to go in a certain direction, they go. Well, that transcends the money for him. And podcasts are the #1 influencing vehicle right now. is podcast. Everyone uses a podcast to launch a product. So podcasting is just in its beginning stages. I would really say invest in podcasts. Hell, I have a podcast. I would invest in doing that.
Yeah.
Because you're going to reach people at a faster rate than just outlets like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's an alarming rate at what you can do with a podcast.
Now, talk about the like the attention span on the podcast too, because is obviously it's getting a different type of listener than maybe like a YouTube or Facebook. Is getting a more sophisticated listener that's actually going to listen and buy. I think they said like 70% of people who look at who listen to a podcast ads actually purchase. So talk about that aspect as well.
Yeah, it's the power of what radio used to do. What Ethernet radio, what radio used to do, tower radio, standard radio that we used to listen to back in the day. What they would do is they would add the element of marketing promotion underlying in music or news. So talking has always been a industry that's marketable. That's why you got an Oprah Winfrey or a Troy Donahue. It's all about talk. It's the talk. Like what we're doing now. This is a revised version of talk radio. People want to know information. They want to know what's going on. And then, of course, being able to bring marketable entities into podcasts. So let's say if I want to pay a Grant Cardone, I'm in finances. Yeah, I'll pay a Grant Cardone to come and speak for 10 minutes because now I'm marketing Grant Cardone. His algorithms, his hashtag, someone's going to watch it. And so podcast gives you a lot of flexibility that you really can't have with certain platforms because it doesn't necessarily belong to you. You can take a podcast and put it on your own server. And you're getting all the revenue. It's coming directly to you. No middleman. So podcasting is a strong vehicle.
We had Marc Cuban on a couple months ago, and we were talking about YouTube and the competition of YouTube. And he didn't think there would ever be any, and we're looking around now. We were kind of joking and talking about certain things that are in its lane, but it's in the lane of its own. How long do you think that'll be? How long do you think YouTube will be monopolized almost? Of this.
Marc Cuban said that. Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't agree with Marc Cuban on that one.
Word. Good.
I don't agree with that at all. I mean, look at the consistency and the vastness of Twitter. I think Twitter's bigger than YouTube now.
Dude.
I think the content in YouTube is huge. The library is huge. But the revenue package in YouTube, can I say this? Because you guys are on YouTube. It's horrible. It's a Berry Gordy Motown contract.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way. The harder you work, the less money you make. A lot of people are under wrong impression with YouTube. YouTube gets a lot of fanfare. Oh, this guy got 10 million subscribers. That doesn't translate to $10 million.
Not at all.
Wish.
Not even close. Okay. So, but you get 10 million followers on Twitter. It's going to be a different story. Because Twitter gets AP, Associated Press, and attention. Twitter goes to USA Today. This is a whole nother. You don't see any news outlet or major media outlet saying, oh, a bomb was blown up today and we're using footage from YouTube. It's not going to happen because it's just not credible. It's a free market industry. You have new industries that are coming up, audio-based media, such as Clubhouse, that just went to Android. They're backed by technology called Agora. The stock just tripled. Then CMGR is already starting at $6 a share. So I don't know about that. Maybe Marc got a stake in YouTube because there's some strong entities out here. I don't agree with that.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely. Talk to us about what you got going on, man. A couple weeks ago, you were telling me about some things you had going on. I don't know if you wanted to, unveil it right now. If you wanted to wait, it's up to you.
Well, I got a couple of things. I got some legal things I can't talk about yet. Okay. That are involving some major people, so I can't.
All right.
I want to, man, but I can't say anything. But right now, I've actually gotten back into the music industry from an executive aspect and trying to design a label that's designed for the artists to flourish. No 360 deals and actually become independent artists. So I'm actually doing that. and I'm working out the legal aspects because we got the RIAA that's really, really strict when it comes to MP3s and distribution. You know, Soulja Boy and Drake you'll never make that kind of money again on the internet, not independently. So we're kind of working those legal issues out. And actually I've actually started a consumer education class, and it's been going really, really well, really, really well. So a lot of success stories. 18-year-old girl, 3 years in my program. She had a vegetarian candy shop in Brooklyn. She retired her mom and dad last year, coming from my course. So it's a lot of things that are in the works, and I'm just making sure I have all my legal things in place and all that good stuff. So I'm very excited, very happy about it.
Dope. Definitely appreciate your time. Real quick before we get up out of here, though, I want to ask you, definitely got to ask you about Bill Cosby. I want to talk about Bill Cosby real quick and him getting out, the legalities behind that, your opinion behind that. I also want to talk to you about Marc Lamont Hill and him and Judge Joe Brown going at it. I don't know if you saw that, but what's your thoughts on all that?
I saw some of it. I didn't see all of it. I have a hard time taking Joe Brown seriously. But with Bill Cosby, you know, I'm 51 years old. So Bill Cosby taught me a lot about life. You know, the Cosby family was the reason I went to college. I never had a chance to see a positive family on TV. It was always good times or us struggling. So to see a nuclear family that was Black was like a motivating factor. And Bill Cosby's always been a benchmark person. Now, what happened to him, I think it was unfair due to the fact that it just wasn't done properly. And the age of this guy, to turn around and say, oh, we made a mistake, now you can get out. And he's had to spend thousands of money. This would have been us. We don't have the money Bill Cosby has. We'd still been in jail.
Yep.
He'd probably died in jail. Okay. Only because he has the money did he get out. It wasn't because he was Bill Cosby. But the media is portraying it as if he's pulling strings in the background and they're helping. This man is 83 years old. And he has a whole lot of money. And that could have been your grandfather, your father. And what if they wouldn't have had the finances? He had to spend a lot of his life's work on circumstantial evidence. So I do feel bad for Bill Cosby. Even though they let him out, I mean, the man 83. It took the last few years of the man's life. And I think that's a tragedy, me personally. The Joe Brown interview, it almost seemed rigged to me. I just couldn't, I didn't believe it. I just don't believe Joe Brown whenever he talks. I don't. I mean, I know it sounds crazy. I just think I want to be mad today. He just wants to be mad all the damn time. He's mad at every damn thing. I never seen him agree. Say, yeah, man, you know, that's really cool. I've never seen him do it.
I know. You think it's like that TV personality still from the show and sitting
Maybe he's looking for a new deal. I don't know.
And when you think about Marc Lamont Hill, what's your perspective of him, man? A real bright individual, but you know, he disrespects, you know, our leaders sometimes.
Yeah, he you know, I think a lot of it is the desensitization of the accountability of being a journalist, especially being a Black journalist. I think it's been watered down. Like, you know, you guys do a fantastic job as Black journalists. You guys are not just sitting here talking about hip hop with laptops. You're journalists.
Thank you.
And you're bringing information to the public. So you got to be consistent and concise. And I think that he has the talent, but he doesn't have the hindsight to know that what capacity he's working in. Because the disrespectful stuff, he's going to have to really work on that, because you are a conduit for Black people. And Black people are depending on your consistency. And you can't give images of disrespecting our elders and stuff like that. That's just not tolerable.
Appreciate you, man. We got brother Khonsu on the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. Got his new label going and everything. So people are going to see this and hear this. Drop where they can find you at, Khonsu, to get in contact with you.
Most definitely. You can reach me at Khonsu Sheshma Moon. You can reach me Khonsu Sheshma Moon on YouTube. I still have a YouTube channel, actually. You can reach me at Dr. Albert Higgins on Instagram, Dr. Albert Higgins on Facebook. I'm a doctor in metaphysics as well. I don't really talk about that, but that's what I do outside of my financial business. So you can reach me on those outlets. Just reach me at Dr. Albert Higgins.
Appreciate you, brother. It won't be a year until we talk to you again, man. Let's do this like we used to, man. Let's get busy. Yeah, have you back on the podcast because the wealth of knowledge and the way we play off each other, man, it's definitely something for the people, and we definitely appreciate you. Khonsu OG on the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. As always, brother, love, salute.
Thank you, brother. Peace, guys.